terms. Now, today there won't be much distributing to do. It'll mostly just be a sign. So if we need to, we're going to distribute. But if you look at like the first example up here, the two are adding, so there's nothing really to distribute. It's like distributing a positive 1, which really doesn't change it at all. So what we're going to do, since there's nothing, like the parentheses really aren't even necessary in this case, we're just going to combine like terms. Now I kind of do steps 2 and 3 together, because I like to kind of be like more efficient with this, is I'm also going to do standard form right away. Remember, standard form is the highest power down to the lowest. So I'm going to be like strategic about like what standard form that forms. Okay. So what we're going to look at, if you see, my highest power is 5x to the second. I have to combine that with its like term. What's its like term? What's like it in that problem? So that negative 3x to the second is also its like term. They have the same variable, the same exponent. So those are like terms. So it's 5 plus a negative 3. So really it's just 5 minus 3. So I take those coefficients and put them together. So 5 minus 3 is going to be 2. And then I just leave the variables the way they are. So I just change that front value, that coefficient. Okay? What's the next highest one to work with? Yep.
Negative 3x and 3x.
Yep, so this negative 3x and then a positive 3x. What happens? They actually cancel because they're the same. So negative, but opposite signs, negative 3, positive 3 will just be 0x. We don't need to write that. And then I'm just left with a positive 4 and a negative 5. Now these two are like terms because they both don't have a variable. So it's 4 minus 5, which is negative 1. Now are these two like terms? Nope, so you can't combine them. Is this standard form, highest power down to the lowest? Yeah, because we kind of took care of that all together. So this would be our answer. Now, it doesn't ask us to do this, but just to kind of reiterate and make sure you understand, how many terms is this? 2 terms. So if we wanted to name this, we would call it a binomial. Sorry, too many I's there. And then it has a second degree. There's like the highest power. Trying to motivate them a bit.
Sounds like he's harassed.
It does sound that a little bit. So I'm sure it's motivating. All right. He means well. Okay, so the next example. What's that?
I'm sure.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Okay, so this one does require a little bit of distribution. What's being distributed in this problem?
Why? Negative.
Yeah, this negative or like a negative 1 has to be distributed. So we actually have to distribute that to that whole second set. Make sure your computer's closed up, guys, so we're focused on this, please. So this first one's not going to change at all, but I'm going to rewrite it anyway. You don't have to. Just so I kind of have stuff to work with here. But I distribute that negative 1 in. So this is going to become a negative 9y to the 4th. But this is negative, negative, so a positive 7y. And then a positive and a negative is going to be a negative, or sorry, a negative and a positive is going to be a negative 2y squared. So I distributed in this case. Now I'm ready to combine like terms. So in this case, we're combining our like terms. Which one do you want to start with? there's one that's easier to start with. Think about that standard form. Yeah, what do you think?
Sorry. Sorry. Oh my God. English? Okay, so 8y to the fourth and negative 9y.
Yeah, so this positive 8y to the fourth and the negative 9y to the fourth. The reason I want to start with that one is because that's the highest power, and we prefer to start with that so that then we're in standard form right away, so we don't have to rewrite this at the end. So 8 minus 9 is how much? A negative 1. And you can just call it a negative y to the fourth as well. Then next, it looks like y squared, right? So 6y squared minus 2y squared is going to be 6 minus 2, 4. So positive 4y squared. Girls, can you stop passing that, please? And then finally, you have these y's to put together. So negative 5y and a positive 7y. Negative 5 plus 7 is going to be positive 2y, right? And then we're done. None of these are like terms, and it's in standard form. 4, 2, 1 is good because of the powers. We're in order, so we're good. Okay? So just a couple more here. A little bit more with distributing. So a lot of it's just the combining like terms here. The distribution step isn't too bad in these. Now this next one does require a little bit more thinking because we're actually distributing a number. We won't do a ton of this in our homework tonight, but I kind of want to ease you into it because we'll be doing more of it tomorrow. Is this 5 has to be distributed in. Now I can multiply that 5 in. And this is sometimes kind of confusing. You can multiply things that aren't like terms, but you can't add and subtract. So it's okay to multiply, it's not okay to add and subtract. So multiplying 5 here, what's getting multiplied in the middle here? So this negative 2 is going to be multiplied in. And then how about the last one? Positive 3, right? So we're multiplying each of those into all of these terms. We're going to do that first. So 5 times 3n is 15n. 5 times negative 4 is a negative 20. So that's my first set of terms. Negative 2 times n squared is a negative 2n squared. So I just put that negative 2 in the front. Negative 2 times a negative 4n is a positive 8n. 3 times 1, and then 3 times negative n squared. Okay. Now again, be strategic about the order I do this in. So I look for the highest power first. So that's these n squareds, right? But they're both negative. Negative 2, negative 3. You're adding, so it's going to be a negative 5. It just keeps getting smaller. Okay? So the highest power comes first. The coefficients we worry about later. Then I have this 15n and this positive 8n. So 15 and 8 is 23. And then the ones without a variable at all, negative 20 and 3 is a negative 17. And this is as simplified as these get. Now you might be wondering, yes, eventually we'll do something with those. For now, this is all we're doing. Now this last one, what's being distributed? Yeah, the negative 1 is what's being distributed here. Don't get yourself confused with that 8m to the second. That's just being kind of like 8m to the second, then we're subtracting these other things. So this is a minus 4, negative negative 2m, so positive 2m, and negative 3m to the second. So we're ready to just combine our like terms. And again, I look for the highest power first, which is the m squared. So 8 minus 3. Next is just the m value. So that'd be the 2m. It has nothing to go with, and that's okay. So we just put it there. And then that negative 4 comes last because it doesn't have a variable at all. So this is considered that standard form. Okay? Questions there? So homework is listed there for you guys. Just make sure you guys have your notes handy. It might ask you guys for some vocabulary words to go along with it. So just be careful as you guys are doing that.